Thank you all. Thank you, Ulysses, and to Shamara. Thank you so much to both of you. And to all of you who are here, thank you so much for what you're doing for our children. To Superintendent Boasberg, thank you so much for your leadership and commitment to our young people. You're one of the few people I can say very publicly and candidly speak about children first when talking about education and talking about after-school programming and before-school programming and making sure that our young people have that safety net. I want to welcome President Nate Easley as well, who's absolutely been a partner out in this area providing quality programming for our young people. He demonstrated some of the greatest courage of any elected official I've ever seen when he stood up against those who initially were huge supporters of his. And he said, "You're wrong. We're going to have to take bold, decisive steps on behalf of our young people out here." And Nate Easley, this entire community owes you a great deal for standing up on behalf of our young people. A well-deserved ovation. Let me just share a brief story with you. You and I know, and I know I'm not sharing anything new when I tell you that about 12, 13 years ago, around 1998, I read a phenomenal story that talked about how after-school programming provide social, emotional, physical, cultural, and academic opportunities for young people, particularly children who live in challenged parts of town. I was particularly impressed when I read the article, and it talked about after-school programming providing expanded learning opportunities to children. I know you know that. I was particularly taken aback when I read the article, and it talked about the economic impact of after-school programming, how it provides after-school support for working parents, and it provides parents precious extra time to provide a little more for their families by saying, "I can stay a little longer because I know my children are okay." I know you know that. I was particularly taken aback when I read in this article how after-school programs build stronger communities by engaging families and schools and diverse community partners in advancing the well-being of children and youth. I know you know all that. I was particularly taken aback when they talked about after-school programming providing a platform for public-private partnerships, the core of educational efforts to help our young people succeed. I know you know all of that. This article was profoundly impactful to me while sitting as the incoming president of the Urban League. So I was very excited to sit down and to read and to research how many after-school programs we had in Denver. And I was amazed to find that we had quite a few. But then I was stunned to find, as I studied where these programs were, that there was almost a red line around communities of color. That in the neighborhoods where we needed after-school programming the most, these for-profit efforts basically redline communities of color. Said because they can't pay for these programs, we're not going in. They wouldn't come to Rachel B. Noel, they wouldn't go to Cole Middle School, they wouldn't go to Smiley. They simply said, we're not going. We're going to go where our services could be paid for by those who participate. And so as a new incoming Urban League CEO, I made it my mission saying we're going to open up 10 after-school programs in this city where kids of color are within the next 6 years. And before, thank you. And so the Urban League was a part of the original Beacons programs that came to Denver. It was the Urban League that went, and we were at 6 ahead of schedule before I decided to run for office. We were making an impact. We had over 2,500 kids involved in 6 after-school programs throughout the city. We were at Cole, we were at Smiley, we were out here at Rachel B. Noel. The reason why we did that is because we understood, as the article said, that we would make an impactful difference in the lives of young people just by making after-school programming available to them. Just like we learned from Chamora and Ulysses. Give the young people something substantive to engage in from the hours of 3 and 6, and you will change their lives. And we saw their academic performance go through the roof. We saw violence against young people go down. We saw our young people avoid the pitfalls of teen pregnancy and juvenile delinquency. That's why what you're doing is so critically important. And I'll close with this little anecdote. One of the days I went to visit the COLE program. And as I was leaving the building, I was chased down the hallway by a grandmother. And the grandmother stopped me and she says, "I've got to tell you the story about my granddaughter. She came to me and now I'm raising her. You see, her mother is now in jail and dad is nowhere to be found and I have custody of her. Clearly I don't have the energy to raise another child." She says, "But this is my granddaughter. When she came to me, she barely spoke. See, she was being sexually abused in the foster care system. And she would not talk to me. I did everything to get this child to open up to me, just to begin to have a normal life." And she said, then I brought her to the Cold Beacon program. And she said, little by little, I saw my granddaughter open up. And little by little, she began to gain confidence and she began to gain strength and emotional connection with the staff and the programming there at Cold Beacon. She said, my granddaughter was just elected as the president of the Cold Beacon program. She's now a flower. She's blooming. She is stronger than I've ever seen her. She said, Michael, I just want to thank you for this Cold Beacon program. Folks, she was thanking the wrong people. Obviously, it's the staff of these after-school programs who show an interest in the young people. I didn't tutor one child. I wasn't sitting and playing basketball with one child. It was that staff every day drilled into that young lady that she was worth something and that she mattered. That's why it's so important what you're doing. You're making a difference in a generation you may never meet. And on behalf of our city, I want to tell you we're grateful. I'm here because I know what you're doing is important. And if I had my brothers as mayor, I'd have an after-school program in every school in this city. So on behalf of a grateful city, thank you for what you're doing. And keep going. Keep doing what you do. And if I can find a way, as we continue to stabilize this city and the economy, the city of Denver is going to find a way to be there to support what you're doing. So thank you so much. Let me thank the people of our Children and Education Division who are helping us connect the dots and helping the city of Denver stay involved. Thank you all, and God bless you for what you do.
Please, everyone, give it up again for our board president, our superintendent, and our mayor. Please, big round of applause.